Hi, this is a video response to a user called, I can't remember actually, but I'll put it up as a video response to them so you can see it and you'll know. Yeah, I'm wasting time here. Anyway, you sent me a message recently, asking me about Asperger's syndrome. You said that you think you may have it, and when you asked me, well, you know what you asked me, but firstly, what I want to say is, as I said in my message to you, I cannot, I will make no attempt to diagnose you. You know, that needs to be done by a medical professional, a mental health professional, to be exact. And preferably an Asperger's specialist, which is what I saw. Not after that was after going through several different psychiatrists over the period of about 2 years. Um, so it was very difficult to actually get a diagnosis. As for how to go about um, getting in touch with the right people, the only thing I can really suggest is try your medical doctor, as I said in your message. Most of this is repeating what's in your message, actually. Um, that's not always easy because most medical doctors are very, I suppose the word I'm looking for is unsympathetic, but that's the best word I can think of. But that's not really the right word. They're not. It's very difficult to work through your medical doctor when it comes to these issues. With things like depression, yeah, fine, that's easy as piss. But as far as I think the best thing you can do is if you know of, I don't know, maybe somebody you know has or does see a psychiatrist or psychologist, then um, get some details from them and you know tell them, give them the professionals a call and just tell them what you think and try and get an appointment with them. But you know, for each appointment that I got, it took about 6 months to get it. So I wouldn't, you know, this is not going to happen over a few weeks. It's probably going to take a few years. Uh, the age you are makes no difference whatsoever. You know, I've known people who are, you know, getting to 50 and are still trying to get a diagnosis. So it's something that it goes missed, it goes unseen quite a lot, and unless it's caught in a very early age, it's very difficult to get a diagnosis after that. I mean, I was 15 when I got my diagnosis. That was I think I was anyway. Yeah, I must have been. Was I? Possibly just past 16. Oh no, I definitely was 15 actually. Um, which is reasonably late, but I recently spoke to a guy, two guys actually, one who was 35 when he got a diagnosis, the other who was 51. So I was quite lucky to get a diagnosis at all, really, considering the statistics. But yeah, so this is a response to your video. I know I've been rambling for 4 minutes about what I said in the message, which you could have read for yourself. But anyway, yeah. The thing is with Asperger's, it isn't entirely specific. You can have several traits associated with it and not have it, and you can also, not all people who have it have all of the symptoms. The most common symptoms are um, having trouble with social interaction. So, for example, it's very difficult, near impossible, to just go up to someone and start a conversation. That's very difficult with people with AS. Communicating in general is quite difficult, actually. As I've found, talking can be quite difficult as well, actually. I don't know if that's just me or if that's Asperger's. I've known other people with similar issues, but also inability to make eye contact is quite. I'm not going to say all people who have Asperger's have it, but most definitely do. And also, they tend to find a certain thing that they're interested in and obsess about it and learn everything they possibly can about it. With me, it was music, and with most Asperger's, it's either creative arts or technology. But it can be vast things, anything that they can focus on. Um, I think it's. I don't know. I don't know quite why. I don't quite know the mechanisms of Asperger's and how it works. I just know what it does. I just don't know how it does what it does. I assume it's because people with Asperger's, it's like if you imagine the brain as a computer. There's a standard system. With Asperger's people, though, you are literally wired up differently, and your brain functions differently. And it doesn't function at any lower level than anybody else's, as opposed to autism. It just, in fact, in most cases, it's incredibly high functioning, which is why it's called high functioning autism. And in a lot of cases with people with Asperger's, their average intelligence is higher than the average intelligence of somebody who hasn't got Asperger's. But again, that's not in every case. But I don't think there is actually anything that everybody with Asperger's will suffer from. But I could be wrong. I think for that kind of thing, the best thing to do is search it on Wikipedia, which is what I did. And I got my diagnosis, and I know it's. The thing is with Asperger's is not only is it hard to diagnose, it's also often misdiagnosed as other things, and also other things can be misdiagnosed as Asperger's. Um, I see a lot of traits of Asperger's that I have, but there's also a lot of things that don't add up. So, but I have this official diagnosis, so yes, the diagnosis could be wrong, but for the moment, I'm going to assume that it isn't because it does explain a lot of things. And to be honest, I don't hold the label as an Aspie. I have my brain works differently to other people's. I don't need to give that a name. It's just it's a fact. Most people who either have known me my whole life or the opposite, haven't known me very long, notice that there's something different to me than there is about other people my age and other people in general. And it's much easier to tell when they're younger, I think. But my mum always said about me that when I was at nursery, there was all the other kids were playing kind of together, if not directly together. They were all sitting quite close together and interacting as kids do, and I was the one in the corner on my own, very happy on my own. That was the thing. It wasn't that I was on my own because nobody wanted to be around me. It was because I was on my own because I didn't want to be around anyone. So that's the difference. It's so easy to confuse somebody who's lonely and somebody who's got Asperger's. I don't not hang around people um because they don't want me. They don't want me to be around them. Although most of them don't. It's because I don't want to be around them because I don't like spending time with people, for the most part. I haven't covered half the things I wanted to cover in the videos. I'm well out. I'm really running out of time now. I've got about 50 seconds left, and I've only watched your first video on the subject, and I think you said there was 17 or something. So I'll watch the rest and respond when I feel I need to. But yeah, I cannot give you a diagnosis. I can give my opinion, and on your first video, I can't give any real opinion. But I'll give you links to some people who aren't professionals, but people who can probably help you understand Asperger's a bit more. Yeah, that's what I'm going to fit in. Peace out, and I'll talk to you later.